Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Open your mind and let go of the fears of midlife and aging. Some people see midlife as a time of stress and overwhelm, but we're not going to do that. We see midlife as an opportunity for continued learning and growth. Life's a journey, not a destination. It's a continual process and can get better all the time. And the best part, you can write your own rules. So in each Midlife Magic episode, we're going to have conversations with interesting and cool people that will give you the inspiration and know-how on how to live your best life. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey y'all, welcome to the Grit, Gumption, and Grace series. I am so excited to launch this series. In each G×3 episode, I'll interview a Southern woman in business. Whether that's the CEO of a corporation or an Instagram influencer, all my guests share their secrets to thriving in their businesses, plus give us tips and ideas for reaching our own business goals. So if we haven't already met, hey there, I'm Lisa Mustard, a licensed marriage and family therapist, life coach, and podcaster living in the great state of South Carolina. Along with my husband, Billy, we are raising daughters, and I want them to know the sky is the limit when it comes to their dreams and goals. And who better to learn from than other women who forge their own paths and are accomplishing amazing things. So we're going to get down to business and have a lot of fun in the process. My first guest for the Grit, Gumption, and Grace, also known as G×3, my first guest is Lauren Truslow, mom to 4 and wife to Neal, owner of Barre3 Columbia and Lexington, the Nail Barre in Columbia, and another Nail Barre in Lexington, and a new business she's about to launch. Lauren chats about her journey to opening up her boutique fitness studios, how she's grown her businesses, how she encourages and empowers other women, tips for success in going after your goals, and much, much more. We hope you enjoy this episode. So we're just going to have a conversation and we're going to talk about your businesses. Could you share a little bit with our listeners who you are and what you do?
So my name is Lauren Truslow and I have 4 businesses currently. I have 2 Barre3 studios. So Barre3 Columbia, Barre3 Lake Murray, and then the Nail Barre Columbia and the Nail Barre Lake Murray. So 2 locations of each kind of business. Mm-hmm. And then I have a new business that's going to be coming soon that I know I haven't announced yet. I'm super excited about. Totally new brand, totally new challenge for me, and a kind of a new venture that's very different from my other ones. Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, y'all. So at the beginning of the recording, Lauren wasn't ready to announce her newest venture, but a few weeks ago, she made the big announcement and it's amazing. Lauren is bringing us the Plan by Lauren Truslow. Her planner has places for you to focus on self-care, meal prepping, organizational love for your home, and a plan for you. Lauren is looking at more than just your schedule. She is looking at the entire whole you. Okay, now back to the episode.
Fitness and nails. But all my businesses that I have done have been out of what have I wanted? What have I in our city? I'm like, I want something better. We deserve something better. And so fitness wise, when I didn't know what it was at the time. I was like, I want something different, but I could see out there. It was at the time it was called boutique fitness. I learned later. When I brought Barre3, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful and it's more intimate. So I did that. And the Nail Barre I created because I was like, I'm tired of the lack of options. So everything I've created and brought to Columbia was something that I wanted myself personally, that I was like, we need something better here. And that's kind of, I just kept growing.
Yeah. And I'm fascinated by the fact that you have grown these businesses and you're a mom and you are a wife and you do all of these things. Like, I want to know about, well, of course, I think everybody wants to know how you do it. Like, how do you keep it all together? But can you take us back to your like journey into fitness? Was that what you majored in college? Because I know you went to Carolina.
Yep. USC grad, go Gamecocks. And I was a business major.
Okay.
But I was a gymnast growing up. I always did sports and athletics. And when I was a pharmaceutical rep. That's what I did right out of college. I taught group fitness on the side. Always loved fitness, but I made like $5 a class. Like it was a joke. I remember my dad one year, his accountant was still my accountant, back that was like right out of school. And he was like, you lost $5,000 at your quote unquote fitness job. And I was like, oh yeah, that's probably about right. You have to buy the clothes and do all the things, but you get paid $5 a class. That was kind of a joke. So I just loved it though. I had such a passion for it. So business wise, my business mind from Carolina was like, okay, if you want to do this, you can't keep doing this. Make it a business and make it something where you can live off of it. So after I had my first daughter, I stayed at home for a little while and kind of was putting together, what do I want to do, and researching. And I found Barre3. I loved Barre3. I thought it was an awesome concept. It gives me the creativity of creating my own class with a kind of a structure to it and guidelines and a brand. So we have Barre3s all across the country. So I'm a franchisee of Barre3. And that was my first, I think I was 29 when we opened that first studio, and just kind of dove in. Like it was scary, but just do it. Just try it. The worst case scenario is people don't like it and we have to close the doors, but at least I tried. So I just dove in and haven't looked back since. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think passion is a big thing in business. You have to love what you do. Mm-hmm. And I love teaching fitness. And for me, it was always about doing something that I loved. And a lot of people now today are like, well, you should teach less because you have so many things going on business wise. But that's why I got into it. So I still teach every single day, and that's part of my love. I'm not going to give that up, Mm-hmm. Once we opened the first one, we still had people driving out from the lake 45 minutes one way. Wow. So I had twin babies at the time. People thought I was bananas to do it, but I went ahead and signed on for my second studio. And again, just diving in and thinking, okay, we can do it. Just juggle it. I've never said, nobody's ever said to my husband, oh, well, you shouldn't do all that because you're a dad. And so my whole thing is like, why would somebody say that to me just because I'm the mom, Mm-hmm. So I opened my second studio and had these twin baby girls and a 3-year-old daughter. And thank goodness Barre3 has childcare. So they towed it along with me and we kind of rolled along. And it was great. And Barre3 was clicking along, and Nail Barre was my third. Then we opened the Nail Barre downtown. And then my surprise little fourth baby boy, he came along. And then we opened our fourth location of the Nail Barre just a year ago. So I kind of, each baby I've had a business baby in turn.
Yeah, that's true. You've birthed not just babies, but businesses. That's really, yeah. I think that's the title of this episode, Birth and Babies and Businesses. I like it. So gosh, Lauren, like I'm sitting here going, okay, I would love to own my own fitness studio. I mean, wow. But like, it's very overwhelming to think that through. And a lot of women maybe listening are thinking, I'd like to be my own boss. I'd like to, advance in my career. I mean, what kind of mindset do you think you need to have to like really embrace that? That's huge. That's huge what you did, Can you talk about your mindset?
So I think the biggest thing I try to build in my clients in my studio is what I want everybody to take away from class: confidence. And it doesn't matter whether it's going to open your own business or whether it's walking down the street or walking into a party. I don't care what it is. I want you to have confidence in everything that you do. And I really focus a lot on that aspect in our studios. I think no matter what I've done in the last, 10 years, I'm like, I have confidence I can do it. Mm-hmm. and I will work tirelessly to make sure that I can do it and I'm successful. I mean, I didn't know how to run a nail salon or how to open a nail salon. I mean, I have a business degree and I went to business school, but that has no, that doesn't mean I can run a, and I don't have a nail. I don't have a nail license. I can't do nails. I did know how to teach fitness and that helped. It just is the confidence in myself that like, I will put in the time, I will put in the effort. I will work tirelessly for my clients and for my family. I think I put a lot of not bad pressure, but good pressure on myself that, especially that first business, I was like, I'm taking a huge financial risk for me and my husband, and at the time, my daughter, to open that business. And I was like, I can't fail. I can't fail because this is our financial livelihood and our future. And so I wanted to be successful for the three of us. And I was like, I have confidence I can do it. Mm-hmm. And I think portraying that confidence out to our clients, people are like, yeah, she believes in these businesses. She believes she can do it. She believes in her classes. She believes in her products and her services. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like people are very attracted to that. And mm-hmm. I think people these days, whether it's social media or media in general, there's so many negative messages and it really chips away at us as people these days. And so I really try to build people up within our studio walls just to have confidence in ourselves, love yourself, take care of yourself, find happiness and all that. So that when you walk out there, you do have this love and happiness and you believe that you can go out there and do anything and everything, That's what I tell my girls all the time. I'm like, my 8-year-old the other day said, Mom, I want to be a dolphin trainer. And I said, okay, sure. Let's do it. And she's like, I said, but what do you have to do? And she's like, I got to work hard. I got to work hard, put my mind to it. And she's like, I'm like, yeah, that's right. You can do anything you want to do if you work hard and put your mind to it and believe in yourself.
Yeah. Oh, great. I love that. And I hope she's going to be an amazing dolphin trainer. If she decides to do. What's her name?
That's Peyton.
Peyton. Go Peyton. We are rooting for you. So how did you develop this amazing self-confidence in yourself?
Well, I think my mom, she has a lot to do with it. My mom, I'm one of 3 girls, and she definitely instilled that in us at a young age the whole way through. I mean, her joke kind of was like, she pumped us up so much, like, oh, y'all, we had such big heads. But she was like, no, seriously, I want you to, you can do anything you want to do. I really credit a lot of that to my mom. So I think it does start at home. So that's why I take that role so seriously in my studio and at home, because I have 3 girls as well. And you never know what's going on at home, even with grown women, in my studios. You just want to be so nice and caring to people. And I think it goes a long way. I said in my Instagram the other day, I said, if you see somebody looks pretty or, they inspire you or something, tell them, don't just hold it in. Like, tell somebody how great they are if you see something that's awesome, because that mileage goes a long way, Yeah. And my mom's belief in us and her love in us and her confidence has just really, it's taken me all the way here.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so if your mom's listening, way to go, Mom. You raised an incredible daughter, and I'm sure your sisters are amazing women as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you talk about any obstacles or hurdles that you have encountered? I know last year was a big one, and wherever you want to go with that, I'm just really curious, like over the years of your businesses, what have been some hurdles?
I mean, last year, yeah, I would say last year was quite the doozy. My businesses, I wouldn't say are COVID friendly.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I've ever cried as much as I cried last year. To work so hard And to be, I mean, we really were at the top of our game. And just to have it, I feel like getting cut at the knees, truly, it was really hard. And I think it was so many different factors. It was the emotional factor of, clients that I was like, please stay with us and please support us through this. And people canceling left and right, like the emotional hurt. And, my husband was like, you can't take it personally. But when you invest your whole heart and your everything into your businesses, it's hard not to take it personally. And then having to come up with so much creativity, especially on the Barre3 side. I taught a class every day by myself in the studio with the cameras. And that was hard. There are days, I was like doing a step tap and just would break down in tears, and then I was like, don't cry. Like all these people are like step tapping with you at home. But it was just, everyone had such raw emotion. Plus you had such ends of the spectrum. Some people, you couldn't make anybody happy, no matter what you said or what you did. People either cheered you or hated you. And so it was just a terrible place to be. I'll have to say, I feel like I navigated it pretty well, but it was a really tough place to be. And it was really lonely. I think all business owners can say nobody understands, unless you were a business owner, how challenging that was and how scary it was. And you see left and right people that closed, and you're like, it's heartbreaking because you know how much energy and love and support people put into these businesses. And so I'm really proud that we made it through. It still sinks because we're nowhere near where we were before. And you're like, pride factor. I want to get back to where we were, just because I'm like, you suck, COVID. Like, I will not let you take that away. I'm going to get back to where we were. But our community the ones who stayed came together in the most amazing and beautiful way I have ever seen. And I will be forever touched and changed by the way our Barre3 community came together. It was amazing. And I think that truly, it made me a better person forever. And so there definitely was some good that came from it. But challenge-wise business, that year, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah. It was, being kind of immersed in the Columbia fitness. Not that I'm like, some whatever, but just knowing all these gyms and just being connected to a lot of people at different gyms around the city. It was just heartbreaking to know that this was happening, and then seeing how quickly though everybody was able to shift to doing online. Really just, I had to do that in my own world, of course, in my job, but seeing how the fitness community shifted over into virtual.
Yeah.
And then I know that there's probably opportunities nowadays that maybe you didn't realize at the time were blessings. Obviously you're branching into a new business of some sort. You're not ready to tell us yet, but you had that, something happened for you that you were able to think outside the box a little bit. So I think it's really cool that you were able to see that. From what I'm hearing you say, there was growth in what you had to go through. So congratulations. Kudos to you for coming out on the other side. And I know you hadn't you just moved your studio pretty much? Yeah.
We had moved the studio, got the building on Divine, and our second Nail Barre had been open for 3 days. So it was kind of, it was all sorts of factors. And you were just like, shoot.
Yeah. Well, let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about habits that have helped you reach your goals. I'm guessing you still have lots of goals that you're working towards. I know, knowing you and being I think you said serial entrepreneur. And you're, just motivating and inspiring me to keep going after, what lights me up. What habits do you believe have helped you kind of get to where you are and help you keep moving forward?
I'm a planner freak. I think writing all my stuff down helps me, and including tasks for the day. So I think some people are like, I don't know how you do it. And I think I have to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if it's like the class that I always teach at Friday at 9:30, or if it's the meeting that I don't normally have at noon, whatever it is. But my day is planned out to the T, and the to-do lists. And there's some like red line items. Like I have to do these today. They are required. They have to be done. And there are things that are like, okay, well, I would like to redo my social media mock-up or whatever is going to, doesn't necessarily have to happen today, but maybe, this week. So I'm really zoned in on my lists. And I think those lists I also create like goals, and I do like a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 10-year plan. I start with 10 and I work my way backwards. 10 should be like my scary, and that's kind of what I did when I was starting Barre3. Like, okay, what do I want at 10? It should like scare me, like where I kind of wake up in the middle of the night, like, but in kind of an exciting way, and how can I get to 10, work my way backwards, 5, 3, and 1. And so I do that with all my businesses. I just revamped that. Kind of COVID, like I said, took me, and that was the first time I was like, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what my plans are. And I was like, woo!
Yeah.
And I grounded myself and, put my feet on the ground and was like, okay, let's regroup. 10 years. Let's look at each business, dial it in. What do we want? 10, 5, 3, 1. And I just look at it very, very simply and look at goals. And I think that really helps me to kind of keep moving forward and not just look at the daily task and the day-to-day like fires, because there's always day-to-day fires, always in business. But then you never get to do all of the big planning if you're just in the mundane tasks of the day. So I think that's the kind of stuff, staying organized and things written down and having not only the daily tasks written down, but then the future stuff written down.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And then can you think of some tips or advice that you would give to any of our listeners who are thinking, I want to be my own boss, or I want to advance in my career?
So I gave a spiel the other day to some high schoolers at Hammond, and they kind of asked the same thing, like if I wanted to open my own business. And I said, don't go out there and say, what business? I'm going to pick a business. I'm like, fine. What are you passionate about? Like, what do you love? Because I picked things that I love so much. And so I do work a lot, but I really don't feel like I do because I'm doing things that I truly enjoy. So my calendar might be filled. I mean, you should see it right now. It's like, because it's the end of the month and it looks like insano. But I love all those things. And so you need to really pick something that you're passionate about and something that you enjoy, instead of just chasing after some like crazy business scheme,
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. That's great. So it's, figure out what you're passionate about, what you love doing that doesn't feel like work, just what do you love? Yeah. I love
and
that.
I also, my husband, he says this about me. Then you can take bite-sized steps. Sometimes it looks like a very big, crazy task. Like, I'm going to open a nail salon. Well, that seems like, wow, there's a lot of pieces to that. But then you just break it down into very small, bite-sized pieces. Okay, well, step 1, you would need a space. Step 2, what does it look like? Mm-hmm. Step 3, just manageable tasks, one little piece at a time, so it doesn't seem overwhelming. I think that's how I've kind of managed all the chaos that I have of the 4 kids and the 4 businesses, one little piece at a time. Because if you kind of look at it globally and big picture, you're like, whoa,
right,
that is a lot.
Yeah. I think that's great advice, because from the outside looking in, I'm just like, how does she do it? Like, she's got kids, she's got businesses, she teaches classes, she does her social media. Like, I'm like, how in the world? But there's a lot going on that you're very, what's the word? Planful? Is that the word? You plan. And
I like to plan.
Yeah. And you're really practical about, okay, well, what is this? You're doing the do. You're like taking the steps to look at, well, if I want to do this, what do I have to do, or what needs to happen? You're not just wishing about it or dreaming about it. You're like, And I think it goes back to, you have the self-confidence in yourself to believe in your idea as, this is something that could fly. Like, this is something that I want.
Like, I can do it. Mm-hmm. We got this.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. I love it. And okay, so a few more questions. What impact do you hope to make?
That's a good one. I kind of thought this year, I really thought a lot about that, because I was so, I guess I was so sad about the state of the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just need to do something else. Maybe I should do politics. Maybe I should do this. I mean, I was all over the board. This is when I was like, what's my 10-year plan?
Right.
My husband's like, what? You are not a politician. I'm like, I know that. I know that. So the impact, I think I eventually came back to what I'm doing now, just continuing to do it on a bigger scale and keep pushing, of the people that I feel like I impact in my businesses, creating the self-confidence. I mean, all my businesses are women focused. Like, it's women everywhere. I have 55 women employees, hundreds of women that are, I mean, there's a few men, and I have, a son, but the confidence and women feeling that they are enough just as they are, like, that's my real impact. Like, I love when people come in to my studio and they're like, I love that you're not a size 0, Lauren, and you stand up there and you freaking rock those squats and rock life, and you do it with grace and poise. And you're like, I love that. Yeah. And I think I'm very much a real woman, and I've had 4 kids, and I don't pretend to, I didn't get all dolled up for our podcast. Like, this is reality. I live a real life, and I am not some Instagram superstar that dresses up in frills every day and has perfect photo shoots. Like, I want people to believe that you're perfect just the way you are. Like, you don't have to have all that. Like, that is not reality.
Right.
You're beautiful just the way you are. Don't look at yourself with these glasses that somehow have been put upon us, that you have to have, like, the perfect thigh gap, and you should be skinny as soon as you have a baby, and you need to have the perfect this and the perfect that. And no, like, happiness and joy and taking care of yourself physically. And that's what I want, women to, the feeling of that is what I want to continue to have the impact on the people that walk into our doors. Because I think that happiness continues to spread, and all that anger last year, I think were people just so unhappy. And when that happens, they're mean. And that, I mean, it was just a terrible, you'd feel it, touch it, cut it with a knife. And when people have that happiness and joy in their hearts, they're not like that. And so I'm just going to continue one person at a time to share that message and that love.
Yeah.
And hopefully make an impact that way.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Your impact. As you were talking, I was thinking about, like, your message is, you are enough. You are good enough as you are, walking in the door of my studio. Like, I'm just so glad you're here, and that I can encourage you or motivate you, inspire you to move your body and get healthy. And your classes are no joke. Like, let me tell you guys. And Lauren it's incredible. I mean, and I like to think that I'm, like, fit and in shape. And I walked out of that class and I was like, holy moly, like, I don't know how they do this. It's incredible. Your classes are fabulous. So
thank you.
Yeah. I mean, if you are in Columbia and you can get yourself to a Barre3, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a fabulous workout. So I know you're not ready to share the other business that you are working on, but it does get me thinking, like, the women that you impact in your studio, that's just a portion of Columbia and in the Nail Barre. Like, so I'm really excited for whatever.
Yeah. So you got it. You got it. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to be able to hit it on a bigger scale. And I think this new project can hit it on a bigger scale, because I can only hit so many people, and I can only teach so many classes myself. Like, I very much have a different vibe than even my instructors. Like, I love the last part of class where I can get up and like say all these like heartfelt things. And not every instructor is going to get up there and be like, you are enough. You're amazing.
Right.
And it depends on the day too. You never know.
Yeah.
But at my new project, in its own way, and it had to be authentic to me, can like push that messaging out about taking care of you and not being, as a mom and just as women, we like love to take care of everybody else. And I finally this year, because it was a lot the last few years. I mean, between having the twins, turning around on their first birthday, finding out, oh my, baby boy was on the way, and having all these businesses, I like woke up one day. I'm like, I'm not even sure what my name is anymore.
Yeah.
And I surely didn't take care of myself for a long time. So this year, and after I said it last year was going to be my year, like I'm going to start taking care of myself a little bit, but then COVID hit. So that year didn't happen. So I started this me plan that was like, I'm going to make a list again, write it down, because if I don't write it down, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this me plan of taking care of myself. And it's going to be different for everybody. Like my me plan is going to be what makes me happy, what makes me tick. And so it all kind of pulls all those different things in, because I think so many of us have felt that way. Like, it's just like little tiny pieces of yourself get pulled away. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, where did I go? And it's really hard to pull yourself out of the hole, and you don't want to ask for help, for God's sakes, because you feel like a failure as a mom or a wife or a woman, because we're supposed to be all the things to all the people. And I don't know why we think that. So that's kind of like the platform on my Instagram, is to be like, why? Like, why do we think that? Mm-hmm. Like, you are fine just the way you are. Like, it's okay that you're not like a rock star mom today. Why do we think we have to be that every day? Like, some days are harder than others, and that's okay. Yeah. So, and also pulling time in for yourself. Like, do not feel guilty taking 60 minutes out of your day. So say it is fitness. Fitness is my 60 minutes. That's what I take for myself. Obviously, I'm a proponent of that being your 60 minutes, because endorphins are lovely and they make you happy, and sweating is my jam. But it might be somebody's might be reading a book. I don't know, whatever. But if you take that time, you're such a better person. Your cup is filled, and then you can like share that with everybody else. But if your cup is empty and you got nothing to pour, and it just is empty, then it's just, you're in trouble, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the heck it is. I have no idea, you guys. So, just fine. Like I love the mystery of it. And I'm just like, my brain's like, what is it going to be? So I'm excited for what you're bringing, and whatever it's going to be. I know it'll be awesome. All right. So thank you for sharing today, like from your heart. I know this is from your heart, and you have so much goodness in you. And I'm so grateful that you are on the show. So thank you. But let's talk a little bit about being Southern, because that's part of this great
part of your show. Yeah.
Gumption and Grace podcast. What is your favorite Southern city?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I do love Chattanooga, but I do love Palmetto Bluff. That's one of our favorite places to vacation with our kids. So I would probably say Palmetto Bluff, because that's where I can let my hair down and disconnect. And my kids are the happiest there. And we just ride bikes and have s'mores and like connect with nature and ourselves. Like I'm totally free there, and I love it.
I've never been there. It sounds really nice.
Great.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. To check that out.
Like, the Spanish moss and the
and I hate to admit it, is that in South Carolina, or is that?
Yes.
It is. Oh, okay. What's it close to?
It's right across from Hilton Head.
Oh, okay.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes from here.
Okay. I didn't.
Okay. From Columbia, I should say. Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I never knew if it was North Carolina, Florida. I mean, I just didn't know. So thank you. I'm going to check Palmetto Bluff out. That's a plug for them.
Yeah.
If they're listening. We'll come vacation there. Okay. And are you a little bit country or are you a little bit more rock and roll?
I would say probably rock and roll since all of my music vibes for class are more like hardcore. I have to have a strong beat in class.
Yeah.
So I would say if you asked me in college or in high school, it was all country.
Yeah.
I've probably been to 15 Kenny Chesney concerts. But if you ask me now, I'd be more rock and roll because I got to have a strong beat, more of the techno rock and roll, if you will. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then what's your favorite Southern food?
Well, I'd say fried okra.
Yum.
Yeah.
That's really
Did you remember my dad, we used to make Po Folks? Do they have that?
I remember Po Folks. Yeah.
I just remember fried okra from Po Folks growing up. Now I would like to have fried okra from Halls instead, but
right. It's shifted where you get it from.
It's a little different.
Yeah. A little bit of a different taste. Taste buds have shifted as we've matured.
Yeah. I would say theirs is a little lightly fried.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. And do you have, I know this isn't Southern, but do you have a favorite success quote that you go back to over and over again?
Well, I always say go big or go home. I always say that because normally I don't do things halfway. I'm like, go big or go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this has been so fun. Thanks, Lauren, for coming onto the podcast. You were, I got to tell you, you inspired me to go with this idea. So I look forward to watching you just keep on building your businesses and raising your amazing family and loving on other women. Yeah, it's really exciting. So where can people find you if they want to know more about Lauren?
Yeah. Follow me on my Instagram, Lauren Truslow.
Okay.
And I'll be announcing my big surprise coming soon. Okay. Yeah. It's coming and we'll be launching, on my birthday, actually, August 11th.
Oh, so when you say launching, is it you probably won't even tell me, but is it like a brick and mortar?
This will be my first non-brick and mortar.
Okay. So it's something else. All right, y'all. Stay tuned.
So follow me on Instagram and we'll have all the I'm already doing some hinting, major hinting. So
see it. I kind of have an idea, but I don't know. I'm not going to say
Someone
anything.
said, oh, I know. She's making a label maker.
She's going to have her own line of label makers on QVC. That's what it's going to be, right?
I'm not going to lie. I would love that actually.
Yeah, I would too. Who wouldn't want to have a product on QVC?
My label makers. I need a label maker holder on my hip.
Yeah. Didn't you just do a giveaway for one?
Yeah. And I have another giveaway coming up soon. People are like, throw in the label maker every time.
I love it. Oh, wow. That was such a fabulous chat with Lauren. And I'm so excited for her new venture. Be sure to follow The Plan by Lauren Truslow on IG so you can see all the good stuff when it launches in August. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to be in the know from when my next episodes come out, just click the follow or subscribe buttons on your favorite podcast player. Thanks, y'all. Well, that's this week's episode of the Midlife Magic Podcast.
Don't forget to join us next time for another episode. Thank you for listening.